wanted everybody to see you, I could. But let me run because I got people in here, and I will talk to you later on.
Yes, I will be here.
All right.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. What's happening? What's happening? We're going to give it a quick second or so, let people, I'm going to give it a minute and let some folks jump in here. Hold on, I got to find my charger real fast, y'all. Oh, here we go. Now, this is somewhat of a test for me too. What's going on? We're going to give it a minute, let some folks chime and pop in here. Appreciate y'all taking a couple minutes out. We're going to have a blast tonight, okay? We're going to have a blast. We're going to get into it. So, fellas, please do not be upset with me. Understand that everything we're going to talk about is really, really, I don't know how many women is even going to get on this, but as far as for us, we got to do this, okay? So I'm just giving it a minute or so we can chime into it. Please make sure you got something to write with, something to jot some information down, because we're going for broke. And for the record, this is the first time I've ever streamed across every platform. So right now we're running simultaneously across Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, I believe Instagram. We on Instagram? Okay, I guess they're taking care of that too. I don't know. But the topic, as you read, as I get myself situated and straight, the topic as you read is, why do most men fail in sales and in business? Okay. Now, the reason why I really focused it in and chimed it in on why most men fail, I was going to be specific with it. At what point I was going to put, why most black men, are struggling in sales and in business. And the reason why I didn't keep it tied into just one particular niche is that in the automotive industry, and in industries period, because I study them all when it comes to sales, but as most of you know, as people know, my primary niche is the automotive industry. Now, I am insurance companies, and I've even had restaurant chains start having me come in to train and educate their people. Credit card companies that have those big call centers and whatnot to do those too. So across the board, one thing I have started noticing is the dynamic of how the male income has substantially decreased over the last 5 or 10 years or so. Okay? Did you know that the average income right now, average income for men, no matter whether you're white, black, Hispanic, or whatever, across the board, the average man income is $38,500. That's nationwide. Okay? The average man right now, like I say, don't matter if you're black, white, or whatever, the average income is $38,500. Okay? Now, in the average, that's just flat out across the board, no matter what city and what state. Now, I want you to really think about that for a minute. The average income for men right now is $38,000. Okay? Now, years ago, and that came from the U.S. Census Bureau. Okay? So if you want to check it, men lie, women lie, the numbers don't. So any time you hear me throw a number out at you tonight, or a statistic, I'll also let you know the source where I got it from. Okay? So as I'm analyzing this, I'm looking at men are having problems in their relationships. Men are being a lot more stressed out right now. And, obviously I know that guys want to, there's nothing, more important to a real man than being able to provide for his family, being able to take care of them. That's our responsibility, to protect and provide. And when you look at it too, the anxiety, the depression, the low self-esteem in men is shooting up. You have more males that are going to therapy, and there's nothing wrong with therapy, but they're stressed out. Okay, stressed out. Anxiety is on high. Why? Because they're unable to earn the money that they know they need to earn to be able to take care of their family and their tribe. Okay, and as you all know, that while we doing this, no matter what platform you're watching it on, all I ask you, please, is to just hit the like button. Okay, don't cost you anything. I don't put up the cash apps, and I don't ask money for super chats. If anybody that's been following me know, I don't even monetize my videos on YouTube. If you pay attention, none of us monetize. Could I do it? Yeah. But I believe it lowers the credibility of someone like myself, who trains and travels all around the country, best-selling author of 3 books, work with and train and create six-figure salespeople in the automotive industry. And so what would it look like me jumping online, throwing out my cash app or, and stuff like that? And as a matter of fact, you all need to start paying attention to that. When you got these folks on here that you're following and you're watching them and you're paying attention to them and they're saying they're doing so great in business, but they're asking you for a super chat or they're asking you for a cash app, you got to say to yourself, if you got it going on like that, brother, why are you asking me for a cash app? If you're so good at sales or whatever it is that you do, why are you having to have your end users give you money with the cash app without anything in return? They don't have anything of value to offer back out. No anything. I mean, maybe some good information, hopefully, verbally. But then outside of that, what do they have? So I will never do that to you. Y'all mean too much to me. So the purpose of this video, as I was saying, is that as I was paying attention to the average man's income being $38,451 to be exact, is what the U.S. Census Bureau says, all right? And then looking at how anxiety, depression, alcoholism, drug overdoses, just in the male sector, has also increased. Why? Because of the stress. And fellas, y'all know what I'm talking about. It is innate inside of every man. It's in us to protect and provide. And that doesn't matter if the male is a heterosexual male or any other type of thing. It is just instilled in us. We protect and we provide. And when you take away one of those components of what we were put here to do and what we were put here for, it can really send the man psychologically into a spiral. I mean, think about yourself. And you got the chat option there too. This is going to be very interactive. Matter of fact, I might even post up a number where you can call in if you want to. And let me ask you this. Can you hear me okay? If you can hear me okay, type Y in the chat. Hey, Julie. How you doing? Let me see. Can y'all hear me okay? Let me know if you can't, please. Because like I say, we're streaming this across all these platforms. So let's get into it. So here's number one as far as in why most men are failing in sales and in business. And for the record too, if you're paying attention, women are starting to do this. So let's just say at one point in time, this was men in the sales sector, especially in the automotive industry, male-dominated industry, all right? At the dealership, mostly men. This is how it was back in the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, predominantly men. Well, it was all males, in the 80s, 70s, and the 60s. Then the women's lib movement came, and things started opening up for ladies, so they went ahead and threw their hat in the ring too. So men were here, and as the years have gone by, this is what's happening. The men's value and worth in sales of their business is going down, while the ladies' value at their places of business and whatnot is going up. So the roles have started being switched off, right? So now you take an arena where typically, even if you were a low-skilled male, you still had an opportunity. So now you got skilled women stepping into the vein where the unskilled male will still be able to take care of his family. But now you have a highly motivated woman that stepped over. Now it's game on, the competition big time. Now, what is it that has caused where men's value and ability to be able to perform at a high level? And right now, I'm going to keep it specific to sales. So when I say sales, that is sales and business. The two are tied in here, okay? So where men dominated the game, but yet their value started going down. Women came in and got involved, their value started going up. The first component to that I want to address is education, okay? Now, y'all, I'm sure, and please, like I said, y'all can interact with me on this through your through the chat box or whatnot. But you know that cliche that we hear about men. Let's take an example. If you're going on a vacation or you're going across town, you're going somewhere that you've never been before, okay? And you want to make sure you get there as quickly as possible. So what is it that an intelligent person would typically do? Look for direction. And let's just imagine this is pre-cell phone. So you couldn't just go to Google Maps or MapQuest. Okay, so at that point in time, you had two options. You can either break out a map of that city that you're in to locate yourself, or maybe a map that can help you get, anywhere you want to across the country. Or you had the option that you could ask somebody for directions. And you know what happens when a wife would suggest to her husband, hey, baby, we lost. Why don't we just stop and ask for directions? And what is it that we do? No, I don't need to stop and ask for directions. I know exactly where I'm going. 30, 45 minutes later, as we're still riding around, like, damn, you know what? I thought I knew I was supposed to take a left right there. I just, something was telling me. Instead of just stopping and asking, our ego, our pride won't allow us to stop and ask for directions. No. So we are willing to delay our arrival at our destination. We are willing to potentially get lost and put ourselves or our family in a potentially dangerous situation, rather than drop our ego and just go ask for help. Now, here's where the game kind of turned upside down when it comes to men's value and success in sales and at their place of business going down and the women's going up, is because just like in that analogy where us as men don't want to have to stop and ask somebody for directions, we'll just risk getting lost, being late, rather than asking somebody else for help, because it says, like, it implies that we must be weak. When on the flip side, you take that female and put her in that driver's seat, and she's unfamiliar with where to go, guess what she's going to do 9 times out of 10? She's going to stop and ask. And for any of you that might have came in late, you might say, I just go to Google Maps or to MapQuest. We're talking about we're just using this as an analogy as to why men's value and success rate in sales and businesses dropped, and now women's is on the serious rise, and economically, financially, it's tearing men up. And it's causing men to be depressed, have low self-esteem. And when a man is pressed with low self-esteem, can you imagine the energy that he's transferring into his house? How can his wife feel secure when her husband feels so insecure? How can his children be proud and look at him with a reverence of a great leader, like a superhero, when he himself is got his head dropped, sitting over in a corner somewhere, having a pity party? Okay? So the male that refuses to ask for directions, the female, the woman, the wife, she'll stop, ask for directions, be on her way, and does not feel the slight for it at all. As a matter of fact, she feels absolutely great about it because she was able to make it to their destination on time. They made it there safely, and they didn't run into any issues. Where like the male that didn't want to ask for directions and they got there late, ended up driving through some neighborhoods that they should not have ever been there. And the ego would not allow him to make an intelligent decision and just ask for assistance. Okay? So women have stepped into the game knowing that they were at a disadvantage just due to the length of time of things were happening. So what did they do? They started educating themselves. It's kind of like athletics. Let's take basketball. Those that love the NBA, why do we like it? Because you like the moves, you like them banging in the post, and you like those dunks. Now, when you're watching a WNBA game, you're not going to see somebody coming through the lane slam dunking. And you're not going to really see all of that physicality like you typically would in an NBA game. But what you will see are some of the best fundamentals across the board. You'll have females that may not be able to dunk, but she can make her left-hand layups 10 out of 10. And on the other side, you may have somebody that's a superstar jumping from behind the dotted line, putting it on the number, slamming it home. But guess what? They don't have fundamentals to save their life, and only made 4 out of 10 left-hand layups. Why? Because his ability to dunk made him feel like he didn't need to worry about laying it up, because if he got a break, he gonna put it home. But on the female side, she knows that the odds of her slam dunking at home on a break are slim to none. So she better make sure that she's got everything set and prepared up here so that she can maximize her opportunities using and applying the basics. So education is and when I'm saying these, it's not necessarily in sequential order of importance, but one of the reasons why men are failing, or should I say struggling, in sales and in business is because we are unwilling to ask for assistance. And some might say, well, no, Brian, I go and I ask all the time for help. Okay, then let's just say you did that. And remember, I'm in dealerships. I'm in automotive dealerships all around the country all the time. You may have went and asked the manager for help. And I'm not talking about help on a deal. I'm talking about help developing a skill. Help building up your ability to qualify. Help building up your ability to do a dynamic walk around. Building up your ability to be able to make exceptional prospecting phone calls for leads from the BDC department that are coming through looking for some help. Okay? So when I'm talking about asking for help, it's meaning, hey, not do what you got to do to close this deal. Teach me and show me or point me to the material that will help me put myself in a position to be where you are. Manager, boss, general manager, or owner. Okay? Period. We have to begin to start not just asking, but demanding upon ourselves that we do everything we can to educate ourselves. Now, when I say education, what does that mean? Does that mean college? No. What that means is taking as much information, relevant information, to whatever it is that you do. So if you're in sales at a dealership, you're the type of education and information that you will want to make sure that you are constantly focused on are things relevant to that. Your ability to communicate, your ability to make eye contact. How do you greet somebody as far as if you guys are going to do the handshake? What type of questions do you ask? How do you utilize layered questions? There's a number of things that you would begin to start familiarizing yourself on that will help you be much more well-rounded. So education is number one, okay? And y'all know what I'm saying. Really being honest with yourself, fellas. When was the last time you truly went and asked somebody to help you at your dealership? And like I say, not to help you close a deal, but literally ask them to help you to evolve as a better performer, as a better sales professional. You see, at a lot of stores, a lot of men are going to be unwilling to do that. Number one, they'll feel like they're selling out the crew because now they're running up to management telling them they want extra training and extra work and extra help. Because you know what? With doing all those extras, they just might actually make extra money. Ain't that a tripped out dynamic? Ain't that a trip? So not wanting to ask, not wanting to sell out the crew can be costing you. If you know you're somebody that's done that, could be costing you. Matter of fact, not could be. It's costing you thousands of dollars. Okay? So make sure, and when it comes to education, here's several things that you can do. Number one, listening. If you haven't done it already, you should take some time at your dealership, grab somebody who you trust, go off to a secluded area, to a corner, or wherever it takes. It could be in your break room if you like. And you need to role play out sections of your process with this individual. And as opposed to just having one, if you can catch one or two, even better. So it's not so routine with them. And I know you might say, oh man, Brian, I'll be one to do that, but what if nobody else wants to do it with me? Keep asking. And if they don't want to do it with you, you guess what? You imagine that you're with a customer and you put your cell phone down there and you start going through and you start rocking it out. And here's why I suggest when it comes to education, you listening and watching yourself prior to you listening and watching someone else. And here's why I say that. We are our harshest critics. Have you ever had to look at a picture of yourself or somebody was recording you talking or walking and you notice how your skin just starts to crawling? Where you're looking at that like, oh my God. You're looking at every negative thing about you that nobody else even knows exists. But for whatever reason, we're locked in on it. And most people don't like to hear themselves speak and they don't like to watch themselves. But here's why that's so critical. If you don't like listening and watching you, how can you expect somebody else to like listening and watching you? Let that register for a minute. If you don't like the way you look and how you sound, what do you think this other person may be thinking and feeling? So now it turns into what is it that we have to do or what is it that we can do to offset that? So at your store, and I know how it is, most people when they get hired, they say, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to provide you with all this training, we're going to take care of you, blah, blah, blah. Then you get there, they tell you to go watch somebody and you left by the wayside. Okay, so just make sure that as far as your education, and that's an everyday thing, that should never stop. As a matter of fact, I had read that the top 10% of producers in the world, before they do anything else after waking up, they make sure they fill their mental Rolodex, which means they listen, read something that is positive, that is uplifting, or that is skill building. So if you want to earn money like the top 10%, do what it is that they do. And since we're talking about men here, do you realize that there are only 10% of men in the U.S. earn $100,000 or more a year? I was blown back when I read that, and I got that from blackdemographics.com. Okay? blackdemographics.com. That blew me away when I found out that statistic. It just tripped me out. 10%. So 10 out of 100 men are making $100,000 a year or better. Okay? And then as far as the average income, which was at $38,000, that's 50%, roughly 54% of men fit within that criteria. Okay? So to move in that top 10% tier, you have to do what the top 10% tier does. Okay? Big time. Y'all still hearing me okay? Because I noticed how my internet, what do you call that doggone thing? My bars, they're kind of fluctuating a little bit. So I want to make sure you hear me okay. What's up, Don? I want to make sure you hear me okay. And remember, folks, when you hear me speak in certain ways, I'm streaming this across all platforms. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So it's going all across. So you might hear me say a name and you'll say, they're not in my, I don't see them as far as on this because they're on another platform, but everything comes through submission. So one of the reasons why most men fail in sales and business, like I stated, lack of education. And we always only equate education with whether a person went to college. The beautiful thing about the automotive industry, it's the only one that I know of, legally, where with just a high school diploma or a GED, you literally have the opportunity to make $100,000 a year. Facts. So why is it that most don't? What is it that would take a man that is working at a place where he can make $100,000 a year, legitimately, to make him quit to go work at Walmart, no disrespect to Walmart, or Taco Bell, or to take a job over at Amazon working in their ship center? What would get an individual that has the opportunity to make $80,000, $90,000, or $100,000 a year solely based on their ability to perform, give that up to run back to lift boxes at Amazon for $15 an hour, or go to Walmart? Why would anybody do that? Why would any man do that? It's lack of education. And it's not college, okay? Not college. We're talking about just day-to-day preparation on what is it that you can do to increase your skill set, which increases your value, which in turn increases the income that you are able to generate and to receive for oneself. Okay, so fellas, we have to begin to educate ourselves. And remember now, that's just you literally waking up and you can go on to YouTube, or if you have you close to a library, or if you and your spouse, your significant other, if you guys are really close and they're a really positive person, going back and forth, words of affirmations, whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself going, and then getting into that information. So if it's you want to be a better closer, you want to be better at asking questions, you want to be a better listener, you just want to be a better sales professional all the way around, it starts with you, and it starts with the education. So one of the main things that's holding men back, lack of education. So in the automotive industry, it doesn't mean that a person has to know everything about the vehicle from the front end to the rear end. As a matter of fact, that's one of the huge misconceptions. I've seen highly skilled people terrified to get involved in the business because they don't know anything about cars. And for the record, I don't have calluses. I don't work on cars. I don't. I've never been a motorhead. I've never been a guy that's just turned on by the sound of the engine. I never have. But when I was selling at my dealerships, was generating millions and millions of dollars in product sales. Like as far as I was moving millions and millions of dollars in vehicles. Okay, not that they was paying me millions and millions of dollars. No, it would have been nice, but no, I was selling millions and millions of dollars worth of vehicles each and every single year. Okay, every year. So in this industry, is it recession proof? I believe so. And again, where else can a male go that might have a GED or high school diploma and literally put himself in a position to make money like he's a lawyer or like he's a doctor? Or even for women at that matter. The reason why I keep saying so much about males is just because the topic today is more focused on males. But the ladies are stepping up in there. And fellas, I got to tell you, for every male that I hear crying and whining saying COVID slowed this business down, I just saw yesterday a young lady named Michelle. I forget what state she's in. Matter of fact, let me look, because I want to make sure you know I'm not bullshitting you. But this woman sold 40 Mercedes in May. In May. 40. We're not talking about a Camry, no disrespect to Toyota. We're not talking about an Impala, a Malibu. We're talking about Mercedes. She sold 40 of them, okay, in 1 month. So when people think, hey, it's hard out here, people aren't buying. No, they're just not buying from you. They're just not buying from you at the end of the day. Especially with an attitude. I had a salesperson that commented on my YouTube video a couple days ago, and he literally said, I was talking about greeting the customer and qualifying them, and what the customer was comparing was a Chevy truck to a BMW, I forget the specific, and then to a Mercedes truck and all these luxury trucks. And so I said, well, listen, if you'd have went and got with your customer, would have asked questions and seen where their hot buttons are and what's important to them and really what they're trying to accomplish with this SUV, you may have been able to point out the difference between yours and theirs and why yours will help them accomplish and achieve what they want. Because at the end of the day, our primary objective in sales is to help our guests make a smart, safe buying decision on whatever it is that they would like to purchase that you have available at your place of business. So that's our responsibility. And the only way we can do that effectively is by learning how to do it effectively. When I hear people say, oh, natural born salesperson, there's no such thing as that. None. Now, you may have been born with certain characteristics and certain traits, personality-wise, that make it easier for so that when you got into it, and when you started sales, it made it easy because that's how your personality is. You're outgoing, you love to smile, you love to laugh, might be a little bit nosy. Those are all characteristics that will make someone an exceptional sales professional, okay? Big time, all right? So, and when people say, oh, natural born, no. You have to educate oneself. You have to learn. Or someone says, man, I got it going on so much, I can sell ice to an Eskimo. No, you cannot. You cannot. And I'll tell a person that in a minute, man, I'm so good I sell ice to an Eskimo. No, you can't. You know why? Because he lives in a freaking igloo. He can go right to the wall and chip some ice off and throw it right in the cup. What do you need your ice for? But if you take that same Eskimo and you drop him in the Sahara Desert, now I may have a candidate, okay? Why? Because there's no other options. It's all about identifying the amplitude of the need, okay? So where men are struggling at, women are natural at, asking questions and kind of, getting the information. Think about what we've known them for over the years, gossiping and this, that, and the other. So when they're sitting down with a guest, they're asking questions, and then they got that natural nurturing maternal thing going on. So you take a woman that's utilizing her natural nurturing ability, and then throw some skill on top of that where she knows how to ask the right questions, listen with the intent to understand, and then be a solution provider. Man, that woman is lethal. But on the male side, we don't want to ask questions. We don't want to be in their business, and we don't want to offend anybody or, yada, yada, yada. Oh, I can get this done. Next thing you know, they don't have a deal. The woman over here knocked the deal down. Why? Because we failed to take the time simply to just educate ourselves to make ourselves better. Okay? So one of the components on why is based on what I just shared with you is the whole thing, lack of education. Okay? So another reason though, look right here, I'm stuck. Okay, so we got education. The next one is expectation. Now here's what I mean, fellas, and ladies, if you listen to this falls up under you too. But remember, the topic is why most men fail in sales and business. And me being in the automotive industry, that's my niche, that's my arena, that's where I play at. What I'm basing my information on, as far as when it comes to average incomes and percentages or closing this, those are from external resources and sites, and I'll give you those. But everything else is from actual experience, interaction with salespeople, and interaction with customers. So education is one of the reasons why men today, modern men, my brothers out here, are struggling and failing in sales and in business. Is not allowing our ego to get out of the way, so we can open ourselves up to receiving information that will help us get better. Not saying I don't need help, I don't need anything from anybody. I'm a man. Man, you better check that testosterone at the door, because that ego and that type of bravado doesn't pay the bills. Because if it did, I know some men out there that would be millionaires right now if their inflated sense of self was worth real money. I know some people that would be billionaires and trillionaires. Okay, so the next one is expectation. So we've decided that we're going to educate ourselves. We realize this one thing. You know what, man? I cannot make it through life at this pace and at this rate and be happy. That's why the life expectancy for men, do you know the life expectancy for men is getting less and less and less as far as in the years go? Where women they're expecting women to outlive us? Why? The stress, the pressure. And most of the time, I mean, you know, just being a man has its own pressures on its own. And then a real man is born and understand his responsibility, his duty to his tribe is to protect and to provide. That's an alpha male. Okay? An alpha male is not somebody that just talks loud and stomps around the house. No. What the definition of an alpha male is, he is a man that is a leader of men. An alpha male is a leader. He leads men. How can a man that nobody is willing to follow call himself an alpha? Of what? Of what? So let's make sure we fully understand that. So when you get that inflated sense of self out of the way and you realize Tiger Woods, greatest golfer in the world, guess what? Tiger Woods has a golf coach. Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest player in the history of the game, had a shooting coach. Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world, has an investing coach. Do you see the correlation between top producers, super successful men, in order to maintain that, went out and are literally learning from people who they may have kicked their ass. So Tiger Woods can probably beat the shit out of most, if not all of his coaches. But their job is to help him tweak and improve certain aspects of his game that will allow him to get better. Okay? That's what it's about. It doesn't matter. He can beat them in 18 holes. But their level of expertise can make it with a tweak where he will beat other pros at those same 18 holes. Michael Jordan, of course, his doggone shooting coaches couldn't beat him in one-on-one. But without their insight, without their input, would he have hit that sweet shot in 98 to close it out against Utah Jazz? Now, on the other side, most men, if not all, that are struggling financially, they don't read books, they don't go to conferences, they don't get involved with groups and people that just do things, role play, skill building. They don't do any of those things at all, and can't understand why it seems like the world is closing in on them and they just don't have any opportunities out here. Brother, it's because you have to create the opportunities. We have to create them ourselves. But again, that comes with expectation. What is it that we are expecting? What is it that we are expecting? I got this dog still. Be quiet. What is it? What are your expectations when you wake up and you walk outside of your door and you go to your dealership for the day? Is your expectation that you're going there and you're going to close some deals and make some money? Is your expectation that you're going to go in there and you're going to help as many people as you can make a smart, safe buying decision? What is your objective? What are your expectations? Because what happens is most men don't even realize it, and ladies, could be you too. They don't even realize that the results that you got for that day weren't based on anything other than you. And here's what I mean. When you're getting up and going into that place of business and you are not 100% within yourself confident that you are going to go in here and you are going to help somebody make a smart, safe buying decision, that you will do that day, not hope to, not try to. You will go in there and help someone make a smart, safe buying decision. If that is not your mentality, if that is not the way you walking in there, then you're hustling backwards. You're hustling backwards. And typically the person that's driven like this is the person that's motivated every day. They positive when they come in office. They greeting everybody. They moving fast. And guess what? People hate him or her. They hate him. Oh man, what the hell they doing? All loud walking through here saying good morning and we ain't even had our coffee yet. They need to go outside with that shit. Tell me, have you ever been in an environment where you've seen other people be upset with somebody because it's early in the morning and they're in a really good mood, super positive, and they're ready to go? Tell me, have you ever seen that? Of course, hey, you might be the person that's standing in the circle cussing them out too, huh? like, damn, they need to shut the hell up. I ain't sleep good last night. I ain't had my coffee yet. Blah, blah, blah. Screw you, positive person. Right? Okay? But they're coming in there and they're feeling that way because success is their only motherfucking option. Failure's not. And they overstand the fact that they've done everything that they possibly could do to be prepared for so when the opportunity comes. Do you know? I'm going to give you all a formula. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to share this one. I'm going to share this one with you. What's up, Brian? How you doing, man? All right, I'm going to share this one with you. This is the formula for success. Let's do it. So success equals plus, I'm about to put it out there, man. All right, so, I got it backwards. Hold on. Let me just change this up real quick, and I'm gonna show it to you. And the formula is nuts. When you see it, it's gonna blow your mind. Here's the real definition of success, y'all. Okay, the real formula, should I say, formula for success. The formula for success is when preparation and opportunity meet. I want you to really think about that. Really think about that. Hey, what's up, Lamar? Lamar here from Luxury Cars of Lexington. What's up, brother? Lexington, Kentucky. I love it. But think about that. Success is when preparation and opportunity meet. Now, where the bottom falls out is, if you're not prepared, i.e. the first point that I made, educated, when the opportunity presents itself, you may not even recognize it because you haven't built up your skill to be able to have the glasses or the right sight, or should I say the right foresight, to be able to recognize that and then capitalize on that opportunity. So success was preparation and opportunity meet. If you've ever seen the movie 8 Mile, okay, think about it. He talks about it in the song Lose Yourself. Okay? You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. How many chances do you get to make, Lexington, South Carolina. How many chances do you get to make a first impression? One. And have you ever been nervous walking up to go greet somebody or deal with a customer? You know what causes those nerves? Lack of preparation. We're terrified. We don't know what they say. What if they say this? What if they ask that? Oh my God, what am I going to do? So we got our lack of education, as far as on the male side, contributing to why so many men are failing and struggling. Okay, we got that component. And then we got the expectation component. So most people today just believe like, hey man, I wake up, I've been coming into this place for 2 years, I deserve a raise. Really? Why? Because you've been coming in doing your job, what we hired you to do, and you deserve a raise for that? Expectation amongst men today who I meet and I interact with, I have to admit this, and fellas, I ride with my brothers all the time. But men are some of y'all starting to sound a little weak out here. Starting to sound a little soft out here. Really, as far as the expectations. I don't know when the society and when the world changed where men would believe they would expect to get something for nothing. I don't know how or when it started at. People believe that they are so slick that somehow they believe they can cheat life. Meaning, they don't have to put in the work. They don't have to put in the sweat equity behind the scenes. That they don't have to go through the education and the learning part. But that somehow life or the Most High or God, whatever you refer to it, but at some just magical moment, everything is just going to fall right onto your lap and you're going to be making the money you want to make. You're going to be living in the house that you wanted to live in. You and your family are just going to be great and ride off into the sunset, right, brother? Hell no, that's not the way it goes. As a matter of fact, if you really look at the way things are going, as men's ability to stay strong, stay focused, and maintain and building up their skill set and doing everything they can to increase their value by improving their mental Rolodex. Once we stop doing that and we care more about the skinny jeans and how many tattoos a guy got and chasing behind all of these females, once we got into that, things started going downhill, the wages included. And now brothers are saying, oh Lord, man, what's going on? What's happening? We have to be the change that we want to see. So if you are a man out here and you know that your life is not where you wanted it to be, financially, you believe your family deserves better. And let me put it to you like this too. What real man is unwilling, and for ladies, I'm only stressing the man part because that's what I am. Okay? I've never been a woman, so I can't really speak to what that feeling is like on the inside. But you are one, so just vibe with me on this, and you resonated in, let it resonate in your mind, and share with me on the chat how, it made you feel. But what man is unwilling to do everything he can within his power to increase his value, to take care of his tribe? If it's a man that gets off work and he goes home and he jumps on the video games knowing he hasn't read anything, he hasn't listened to anything, he hasn't done one thing that day to make himself better. Okay, he might have went to his place of business and closed the deal. Sweet, that's what you're supposed to do. But why didn't you get two? What if something you would have read or something you would have focused on, something you would have learned would have helped you get two, would have helped you get three? If one was great for the family, imagine what three would do. And that's what our responsibility is as men, to constantly be looking for ways to level up. And with our significant other, it's our responsibility to make sure we cuff them up and say, hey, hold on tight. I'm taking us on this ride. But trust me, we gonna make it and we gonna get there safe. Let's roll. Let's roll. But that's not what's happening. You actually have a lot of men stepping back and letting the woman step into the forefront and make the decision. You got men that are coming home and that are so, because their manager yelled at them or they didn't close the deal, they're super emotional and they got to cuss their girlfriend or their wife out and, be distant from the kids and stressed out outside getting a drink on. Hey, and make sure y'all remember, for those of you who have just been coming in, I ask for very little, but please hit the like button because it helps the information just be shared with other people. And I'm streaming this across LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, the Gram. It's across multiple platforms. So please make sure you hit that like button. That I don't do the Cash App thing. I don't do the Super Chat thing. I don't even monetize my videos. Just make sure you hit the like button. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. But so as a man, as what we call ourselves, a true leader of self and of others, it is our responsibility, like I said, to increase our value to be able to make it happen. Yes. Who is that? I'm on a live stream right now. Who? Yes. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. I apologize. 1 second. Yeah. Yes. Who is that? Oh, what's up? Yeah, I'm on a live stream right now. All right, y'all, my bad. I apologize. That was my neighbor. Actually, she came by and bought some T-bones over for my dogs. My neighbor Stacy. And I told her I was going to put her on blast and put her name out there. Now, that's a good neighbor, right? She bought 4 grilled T-bone steaks over for me to give to my dogs. That's awesome, right? But fellas, it is our responsibility. It is up to us. It is our job to do everything we can to continue to build our value and increase ourselves to be able to provide and take care of those that we love, okay? Period. So if you work at a dealership and you feel that it is your manager's responsibility to help you make $100,000 a year, you got the game distorted. That's not their responsibility. The only responsibility your management, your ownership have to your dealership is this: to make sure you have a proper, or should I say appropriate workplace or workstation. You have the resources you need to be able to perform. You have the products or services that they're wanting you to promote and to educate people about and close, that you have all of those. But outside of everything else, that's on us. That's on us. And, they may give you different modules to do so you can be certified and all of that stuff. But it's not their responsibility to fill your head with the material to help you make $100 grand. Matter of fact, I got another statistic for you to blow your mind. Check this out. Do you know, oh no, not this one, not that one. Do you know that nearly 50% of all companies in the United States spend $200 or less each year on the training and development of their employees? And that comes from Statista. So if you want to check out what I'm saying, Statista lets it be known, and they're a data mining site where they go across far as when it comes to training and developing salespeople and employees that put the data out there. Do you realize that 50%, which means the company you work for, 9 times out of 10, spent $200 or less to help you get better. Does that sound like commitment to you? Matter of fact, what will it benefit them to help you get skilled enough where you could potentially sell your way out? Because remember, I used to work at a dealership. And what happened was my skill set got such to a level that other stores were offering me, $200,000, $250,000 packages way back then to come in and to train and develop their salespeople. Where did that come from? From my ability of developing myself. By doing that, in turn, it showed my proof of concept because it worked. It generated the results. Therefore, people were willing to invest in it. And that's all this is about. That's all this is about. But I built my skill set up to a way that the person that used to be my boss or my general manager became my client and my peer just in a matter of years. And the same thing, when I say peer, it was just a difference. There was no manager supervisor dynamic. It was Brian and whoever it is. As a matter of fact, I'm a boss. So if he was a general manager and I'm the owner of my company, we ain't even on the same page. We ain't on the same level. I would have to be talking to his boss, the owner of the store. But you get what I'm getting at, okay? So what would it benefit them to help you develop your skills to a point to where you could actually sell your way out of there? It would not benefit them. As a matter of fact, most businesses, especially at dealerships, really will only focus on training a person up to well enough to where they can produce and perform, but never where they're going to make so much, where it'd be earth-shattering money or putting them in a position where they could potentially run off and go do something else. Now, another statistic, check this out. Over 50% of U.S. companies provide 1 week or less of actual training. So think about that. For somebody who might have done landscaping, may have been a barber, may have been a beautician, may have been a firefighter, I don't know, may have come straight from customer service, decide that they want to get involved in the sales business, and let's just say they jump on at a dealership. Now this person has never done anything remotely like this. And the best that they can hope to get, there's a 50% chance that they may be lucky enough, be one of the lucky ones, where they'll actually be able to receive some training of at the maximum a week. Or they get that good old $200, that $200 investment into your future based on their employee. It's bullshit. So we have to educate ourselves, and we also have to set the proper expectations. But setting the proper expectations is solely dictated by us. It's us. So what is it that you want? Is it to buy a new home for the family? Is it to buy a new vehicle for the family? Is it to put the kids in private school? Is it to make sure you and your significant other have substantial monies, or should I say reserves, for retirement? Whatever it is. Now, after we got that, it's our responsibility to create the roadmap, to create the process, to create the sequence, the steps that are going to take us there. What is it that we can do to bridge the gap between where we are now and where it is that we want to go? Okay? So you got your education and your expectation, and for most men, they're skewed. And let me hit you to something else. If there are men out there that are going home and all depressed and all sad and, telling their wife or significant other, oh man, they not giving me any deals, they holding me back, yada yada, going home lying to those people, and you're stressed out because the bills can't be paid and you don't know what to do, and your woman is sitting there looking at you saying, dude, you do realize I'm the one that's supposed to be acting like that, right? You do understand it, right? So they're looking at you. The kids are looking like, mommy, what's wrong with daddy? Why you just, And you know what that woman will do? She'll start looking for a real man that's going to make her feel more secure and more protected. She will. Those kids, they'll start, especially if it's a son, he doesn't feel like he can be proud of his superhero dad. Guess what? Force that little boy to start looking outside for a superhero. Or that little girl outside to find a male type super figure that her daddy was in her life at one point. So now you force those two kids to find that, to replace that superhero image that they had of you, they have to put somebody else in that spot. And guess what? Sometimes that ends up being people that we don't want it to be. They want to end up being Young Thug or Lil Uzi Vert or Little Peep or Pumps or whatever it is out there. They want to end up being like Nicki Minaj if it's the daughter, whatever. All bullshit that we know is not beneficial, but yet the male figure that they had in their life that was the representative, the representation of what strength is and what a protector is and what a provider is asleep on his job. Is asleep on his job. So as a man, if you are on here and you do have a wife and you do have children and you haven't been doing everything you can to maximize and make yourself better, shame on you, my brother. When I see men going out spending money on video games, and you ask that same male, when was the last time you read a book? I know you jumped on the internet and you learned all your secret and your cheat codes for the game. But what about the cheat codes? What type of stuff you got for the game of life? So cats can jump on and crush it in Call of Duty and whatever other games is out there. I'm not a gamer. Every once in a while I do jump on 2K. I do got that 2K. I'm still on 2K20. I do got that. But men go out and spend money on that. But you ask them, hey, what have you read? Have you gone to any conferences? What have you done to make yourself better and more valuable so that you can project yourself onto society with more value and in turn reap what you're worth to be able to share it with your tribe, with your family? What type of real man is not doing that? Or spending money like Brian say on buying the brand new Yeezys but ask them, have they read a book? Ask them what they've done. What is their 5-year plan? Don't have one. But then we sit up and we try to blame it on everybody else. It's the white man. It's the white man holding us down. It's the black man taking all our opportunity. It's the women coming in. It's the LGBT. No, it's you. Stop blaming, because real men don't blame. One of the truest statements I ever heard came from one of my favorite presidents, Mr. Harry S. Truman. And you know what he said? The buck stops here. The buck stops here. For any male that's deflecting, no, that's your household, that's your responsibility, those are your kids, and that's your woman. And our responsibility is to protect and provide. So if you are going into your dealership day after day, doing the same shit that you did the day before, you know what that is? That is the definition of insanity. Definition of insanity. And I don't know about you. I'd rather not be known as being insane. Matter of fact, I'm sure you're not. But if you possibly believe that if every day, based on the results you've been given, that if you continue to do it the way you've been doing it, that somehow you just gonna jump into that $10,000 a month club. You're just gonna start making $120,000. It don't work that way. Now, when you're young, you're 21, 22, 23, 25, you let's say, man, I'm only 23. Man, I'm only 25. And we have that thing, that illusion, as if time just stands still. Time don't stand still. It's like when I hear a young 21-year-old dude be like, man, listen to the old here, to the old this. And it's like, keep living, young brother, because one day you're going to be that. And when you look back, you're going to say, damn, I was calling them old heads and whatnot. What was I thinking? I didn't realize how ignorant I sounded. And ignorant only meaning lacking knowledge. So fellas, we have to educate ourselves, and then we have to set the right proper expectations, not just for ourselves, but with our families too. If you're one of these men that's out here fronting to your family when you go home, acting like you just working so hard and going ham and crushing it and yada yada, but yet if they was to come and be a fly on the wall, they would see you outside on your phone texting, they would see you running around, you see you always eating, they would see you doing everything but making the most of your available time in between guests to somehow make yourself better. You could have grabbed a team member and practiced walk around. You could have grabbed a team member and sat down and worked on role plays or handling objections. You could have grabbed a team member and, decided you want to go through rebuttals. You could have gone by yourself and just grabbed some keys and started familiarizing yourself with maybe one of the vehicles out there that you're not too familiar with. Maybe you want to, it's a number of things that can be done. A number of them, if we want to. So it's education and expectation, okay? And then the one of the other ones is preparation. Now, the preparation part, where I just ended talking about grabbing a team member, that kind of leads right into preparation, okay? Because gaining the information is one thing, applying it is another. it's kind of like let's take Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, and make sure y'all hit that like button too, and subscribe if you haven't already. Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, right? They both are fighters, right? In the UFC, they actually stand up and throw blows, and they have gloves on. So pretty much boxing, right? So seeing as Conor McGregor was the champion and one of the best, especially when it came to boxing in the UFC, and it's just standing up throwing some blows, just made sense that he took on the quote-unquote TBE, Floyd Mayweather, one of the best boxers of all time, definitely the best boxer of this generation. But he stands up and he throws blows, so should be fairly equal, right? Wrong. They got in there and Conor McGregor got knocked out. Doesn't mean he's not good at standing up boxing? No. Doesn't mean that he has a bad chin? Nope. Doesn't mean he can't fight? No. But there's levels. There's levels. The level that he was on was good. Matter of fact, maybe borderline great. But the level Floyd is on great or greatest. Okay? So that's the same thing when it comes to sales and business. There's levels to this. You have your men that, and we're not talking about young men, you have some men that are in their 40s and 50s and 60s that are working at dealerships right now. Some of you might say it might be the grumpy old dude that just won't get out of his own way, or just is unable and unwilling to be able to accept change or whatnot. But, dealerships do have that group of people that are perfectly content. They're not really going to push the line too much. But then every once in a while, you'll have what I like to call a diamond in the rough that flies by there, that jumps in and gets in the game. Now, this is somebody who, whoever plans to get involved in, let's say, the automotive sales industry, number one. No one does. Nobody's sitting up in high school and people going by like, hey, what you want to be when you get grown? They say, I'm gonna sell cars when I get big. No, nobody does that. Matter of fact, we all fell into it through some way or another. Sometimes people get fired, and that was who was hiring. Sometimes it's a referral of a friend. Sometimes a family member of yours in management. Whatever the reason that you got there, we got there. Okay? But there's levels to it. So you got the older person that been doing it for 20, 30 years, but for some reason, they're always hovering around between that $40,000 and that $60,000 mark. They make a cool, decent amount of money, to have an okay living, but it just, that's where they are. And yet they've been doing it a long time. And then you have another group of people. And in this group, it's much smaller. Matter of fact, it can only be one, maybe three tops that are in this group. And this is the group that are exceptional earners. These are the people that are in the $8,000, $9,000, and $10,000 a month club. Okay? Much smaller number. Why? Because the amount of dedication and commitment that it takes to be able to hit those type of numbers means that they prioritize their day and their time. They don't have time to take 15 smoke breaks. They don't have time to sit up and have a back and forth chat conversation with somebody on Instagram while they're at their place of business, just watching customers walk past them for another sales rep to step up. Okay? Really think about that. So we got education, we have expectation, and we have preparation. So how do you prepare? Well, the best thing to do is let's take your process, for example. Every single day, every single day, you should have your 10 steps, your process, or your road, even though you know it frontwards and backwards. Always have it someplace that you can see it in the morning. That whether that's in your home, whether that's in your vehicle, whether that's in your workstation at the dealership, it doesn't matter. Make sure you peep that, okay? Number two, you want to really identify where are your areas that you want to improve at. So it's dropping that ego and actually like waving the white flag and saying, you know what? We all need a little bit of help sometime, all of us. So why don't I go ahead and call in my card right now, okay? And by doing so, guess what? You'd be amazed at what type of things actually open up for you. One of the things that I peep, y'all, and then I'm going to get and go back and forth with the chats because I see we got quite a few coming through here. One of the things I picked up, a man taught me a phrase and it said, the less I do, the more I make. And I didn't understand that. And the gentleman that said that, his name is Ron LeGrand. He's known as the quick turn real estate millionaire, Ron LeGrand. He was actually like a mentor of mine years ago because I had done some speaking engagements for him. And this guy's a tremendous story. He was a carny at the age of 35. You know, carny means he works for the carnival. And you ever seen them carnivals? You got those people that be like, "Hey, step up! You got the thing." He was one of those. You know, not a very handsome man, really tall, really slinky, white guy. But the funny thing is, you know, when they're at the circus and they were doing the carnival thing, and he had ran into a gentleman and started talking to him about real estate and these seminars and whatnot. And so he attended one. He said it cost him $15, and he went. Right now, to this day, I believe Mr. DeGrand is worth upwards of about 100 million, something like that. That $15 investment in that book gave him enough, not a lot at all, but enough information for him to jump into the real estate game. And from that initial book that he read before he even bought his first property, he said that he read at least seven of the best books on real estate investing he could find prior to him ever going out and making a decision to purchase or anything else like that. Now let's think about what a lot of other people would do. Most men would do, especially today, as opposed to taking that time to sit down and educate themselves to make sure they know that pistol in and out and whatever it is that they wanted to do. Instead of doing that, the lack thereof doing that ultimately impacts and affects the results. So, fellas, we have to start getting out of our own way. And if we are fortunate enough that we do have a significant other that is at home, that is supportive, she's and I say she, whatever it is, if you have a significant other that is that you are taking care of every day when you get up and go to that dealership, you owe it to them to make sure that you keep them as informed as possible on things that are going on. Now, when I say going on, not meaning the negative bullshit that's happening. Again, that's a woman trait to come back and be sharing all the negative gossip. That's not what men do. And who wants to bring negativity and bullshit into their house? No need to bring that type of energy. Leave it right where it was. You want to reference the positive things and maybe some areas that might need a little improvement, but leave the negativity. But if your partner, if your significant other is there with you, they supporting you, they riding for you, yes, you owe that to them. But you also owe making sure that if they're going to be backing you up, they're going to be supporting you, they're going to be cheerleading you, that they're cheerleading and supporting the best version of you. I cannot tell y'all how many times I get calls, text messages, and emails from men that are, "Hey, Brian, man, I love your stuff. I watch your videos, bro. I want to make XYZ amount of money. I want to do this. I want to do that." And when I ask them, "Okay, so what you been doing for yourself? What have you read?" "Oh, man, I don't really be having no time, to do the reading." Okay, cool. What was the last thing you listened to relevant to making yourself better or increase your skill? "Oh, man, really, I got my own thing I do. I listen to music, da-da-da." So in other words, you telling me you want to make more money and you want to live more successfully and happily, but yet you've never read or referenced anything on how to make money. You never referenced or read anything on how to be a success, but that's what you expect me to believe that you want. Man, you sound smart to somebody dumb. Because anybody that's out here really getting it knows what time it is, knows what has to go into it. And that's the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into tearing your old self down, building up your new self. That's what it takes to take information, external information, feed it into your mental Rolodex, and make it work for you. Because understand something. If I was to ask everybody that's been in here listening, because I can see them by the droves, we'd have hundreds that have came in and out of these rooms across all these platforms. Let me ask y'all this question. Be real with yourself. If you know you want to be more successful and make more money, what really have you or are you doing to get it? Because if I wanted to be a great beautician, I'm not going to go to a sous chef and ask them to help me. If I want to be a great nurse, I'm not going to go to a construction worker and ask them. But peep this out. If I would have went through and asked everybody on here, how many years of sales experience do you have? Everyone would have gave me an answer. Everyone would have given, 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, none, maybe 1. And that's cool. But I want you to understand one thing. In every single group of highly intelligent people I've ever shared what I'm about to share with you with, have all told me that they had never seen it that way. And also that they are so grateful that their eyes are open and their perspective is much clearer as far as on what's really going on. And here's the facts. The reason why the gap between the haves and the have-nots is the haves, the have-nots. Why the gap is so wide, is because most people fail to understand this one thing. And that's from the moment that you were born, I was born, your mother, your father, your grandparents, every single human being that's been blessed to be born on God's green earth is born in the cells. And I'll prove it to you. When a baby cries, a baby is crying to be picked up, be fed, or have a diaper change or held. That's the sales call. Any relationship you've ever been in before, you were not the only individual that thought that person was attractive. As a matter of fact, you were one of many willing takers. But yet, you presented yourself in a way that they said, you know what, I like them. I want to build with them. I want to have kids with them. I want to marry them. I want to move in with them. Okay? At your place of employment, you were not the only candidate that ever applied. You were one of hundreds, if not thousands of candidates. But yet, when you went in on the interview, guess what? You sold your skill set. You sold your expertise. And you sold it in a manner that they said, you know what? We get the highest rate of return on our investment with this individual here. Do you realize that, have you ever been inside of a car just going to lunch with somebody and they say, hey man, let's go to Wendy's, and you say, no man, let's go to Five Guys, they burgers and fries are way better, and they say, okay, guess what that is? That was a sale. Have you ever been sitting down on the couch trying to decide what y'all are going to watch on Netflix, and you see your boo about to select a movie and you say, oh Lord, I don't want to watch that. You say, hey, check it, they just got this new one that just dropped out, let's watch that because that's way more exciting. They got such and such in it. They say it's about blah blah blah. Let's see what that's going on. They say, okay, guess what? That was a sale. When you're sitting or standing in a room by yourself and make the decision, say, you know what, I ain't doing shit today. I'm just gonna play video games and chill today. Guess what? That was a sale, because if you just sold yourself that it's better to sit there and do that than it is to get out and go get something. You understanding this dynamic? Sales is something that we can't escape. We can't escape it. We're born into it. So knowing that it's something that we do every day, when you walking down the street and you say good morning, guess what? You're selling to that person, hey, I'm having a great mood. I'm in a good mood now. I hope you're having a good day. And when you're pissed off and you're throwing stuff, you are selling that you're upset. And whatever it is that you vent, that's the reason behind being upset. Matter of fact, to break it down even further, unless you want people to believe you are a liar, every time you open your mouth, you are selling an opinion, a perspective, and a point of view. Whether you like it or not, every time you open your mouth, there's a sale going on. The only question is, who's buying whose brand? So men, we got to do better. No longer do we look and expect somebody else to come save us, because our family is looking for us to save them. So what? We're going to have somebody come grab and save us and say, thank you for saving me. Now come on and help me get my family. Hey guys, you all should be really excited. Somebody else who doesn't even know us cared more about saving our lives than I did, which is why we got to depend on them. That's sucker shit, man. That's sucker shit. With as much opportunity that walks into dealerships on a regular basis, you don't need to get in front of 100 people. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. And not about them, about us. Because if our mind ain't right and we giving off negative energy, guess what? You will literally attract every effed up customer to you. Why? Because that's what you're projecting. And like attracts like. Matter of fact, the likes, please y'all, do me that favor. If you want, please just hit the like button. That's all I ask. That really means a lot. And I thank you for that. It means a lot. Right? But really, I mean, think about the dynamic of really what's going on, man. So, man, we got to do better. And listen, anybody on here knows, if you've been watching me for years, you know what I travel all the country, training, traveling and whatnot. You know what I do. So let's just say I'm not your cup of tea. That's fine. But please, I encourage you to make sure that you find something or someone that you really do trust, that you feel like will take their time to be committed to helping you get better. Someone that when you pay attention to anything they got going on and you listen to it, you can feel it. It resonates with you. It gives you this jolt inside your system. When you have that person that you feel like that and you vibe like that with, and you know that they've achieved or accomplished things that you'd like to, man, make sure that you treat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. Them video games ain't going nowhere. And your kids can't, and your significant other can't eat them games. Your automotive company is not going to accept them games for payment. Your cell phone carrier is not going to accept those as payment. So you get what I'm saying. All right, let me jump on this chat for a minute. Let's see what's up. What's up, Jay Nando? So let me go through here. We got some stuff. People coming through. I already gave a shout out to my girl Julie. I can sell the car, but have a difficult time picking up additional warranties. What's your insight? RDYT, are you still on here? I hope so. RDYT said, I can sell the car, but have a difficult time picking up additional warranties. What's your insight? All right, now, as far as the pickup on additionals, many times the reason why customers buck when they get back there with the business manager is, unlike yourself, most sales never ever tap into even discussing what the basic coverages are that are coming on the vehicle when they purchase it. Here's what I mean. Let's just say they buy a new one and it has your typical stuff. It has your basic limited warranty. It's got your powertrain. Just the standardized thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share how a good way, because everybody has their own process. So whatever way that you've been doing it works for you. But just some insight on certain things you could say that will help set the stage so that when your business manager does offer and does present those other additional options for them, it's easier for them to accept. And here's what I mean. So let's just say I'm sitting down and I'm talking with my customer. I say, hey, listen, and also with this, you have our basic limited warranty. And what that means is that any of the parts on the inside of this vehicle, made by the manufacturer, okay, and on the outside, with the exception of the tires, is covered under our basic limited warranty. Now, the cool thing about the basic limited warranty is that for the first year or 12,000 miles, I'm going to cover your windshield wipers. What that means is that within the next 7 or 8 months, what I'd like for you to do is I want you to bring your vehicle back in here. We'll schedule a time before you leave. And what I'll do is I'll put your new blades on for you myself. Or I'll get one of my technicians to get it taken care of for you, lickety split, because it is a part of it. Also included in that basic limited warranty is also your brake coverage, which means for the first year of 12,000 miles, if your brakes feel kind of like you're going down a little bit further than what they should, or you're not stopping the way you feel like you should be, all you have to do is you call me, you text me, or you email me. I'm going to get you to bring that vehicle in here, and what we'll do is I'll get my techs to take a look at it to make sure that your brakes are good. Because if you have the coverage, you might as well leverage it and take advantage of it while it's available for you, right? Right. Now, also included in that, if you have any issues with any of the parts or the components on the inside of the vehicle, meaning if the power windows stop working, the power seat stop going right, the opening up the sunroof button don't work, do not hesitate. You call me, you text me, you email me, I'm going to get you to bring that vehicle in, and we're going to get that vehicle taken care of, looked over, and walked through to make sure you can get it back on the road and you have any issues. That's covered for you under the basic limited warranty. But also with that, you also receive our powertrain warranty, which is for 5 years or 60,000 miles. Now, within the powertrain warranty, I'm sure you're already familiar with it, but I'd be doing you a disservice, Mr. or Miss Customer, if I didn't at least share it with you, okay? What that means is that your engine, your transmission, and your drivetrain are covered. So let me get a little bit more specific. If you realize that when you're driving your vehicle, for some reason, it's not riding right, you're going through and the engine seems like it's having some issues, that's nothing that you want to play with. You want to make sure that you call me, you text me, you or email me, because for the next 5 years or 60,000 miles, if you have any issues with that engine, as far as any of your lubricated parts, lubricated components in it, I want you to make sure that you give me a call. I'm going to get that vehicle in here and we're going to get it taken care of for you. Also, with your transmission. If you realize it feels like your vehicle's not shifting right, you're accelerating, it's taking a little bit longer for it to kick it to the next gear, don't wait around for that. You call me, you text me, you email me, I'll get that vehicle brought in. We'll get our technician to take a look at it, and you'll be taken care of, okay? And yada, yada, go through that. Now, as you're going through it, here's where you get to the setup. So what I just went over with you are your basic, your coverages as far as that come on the vehicle, Okay, your basic limited warranty, your powertrain warranty, and whatever else goes on with it. Now, if you see the value in these coverages, like most of the other people, most of the other customers that come in, you will have the opportunity to extend those when you go in there with the business manager, okay? But I at least wanted to cover with you what the basics are that you get with the vehicle right now. So if you notice what I said, let's just say you're going through your specific thing, because for me to have gone through a whole warranty coverage just off the top of my head, which I could have, but just for the sake of time, didn't really want to. After you get through covering it, easy thing to say is, hey, listen, if you see the value in it, like most of our other customers do, you will get the opportunity to extend the coverages when you go in and you speak with the business manager, okay? And let's just say there are additional add-on things. If you have some type of paint protection or things of that nature, when you do talk about it, when you finish talking about it as a bunch, you set the stage by saying, hey, if you see the value in it, like most, or if you want to say many of our other customers do, you will also have the opportunity to extend those when you go in there and you speak with the business manager, and he can answer it, or she can answer any additional questions you may have about that, okay? And then you move on, okay? So as far as when it comes to you picking up additional warranties, RDY2T, I'm not sure how your dealership handles it, where it's kind of like free for all, and if you see one thing that you like, you want to offer it, you can, but there's something else. I don't really know how that works as far as for your store, but hopefully just after you go through and you let them know, hey, listen, if you see the value in that coverage like most of my other customers do, you will have the opportunity to extend those when you go in with the business manager. Okay, I hope that helped. Who else we got here? Lamar, Luxury Cars of Lexington. We gave my man Lamar the shout out. Omar, love it. Thank you, brother. And I said, okay, since the stuff out. That was Brian chiming in on the Jordans. Okay. Fernando, Lindsay Ford, that's what's up. DB, what's up? Hey, my brother Derek Bumper decided to pop in. And if you guys don't know, Derek has some awesome content on Facebook. He handles the marketing, really the BDC and the marketing for dealerships out there. I believe Auto Care Center, if I'm not mistaken, DB, is one of the groups that you do business with. So I'm glad you stopped in. Jay Nando, which is Fernando. All right. Good Sunday. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so fellas, hopefully the gist really of what this all about, man, is y'all know how stubborn we can be. And I meet too many men out here who want to do better, who want to make more money. They really do. But for some reason, they seem like they feel soft or embarrassed if they actually do it. Or here's another kicker. Why is it that people always feel like it's some type of a scam if somebody is offering them materials that can actually help them be successful? Especially when you talk about the black community. The black community will buy up everything from everybody else, but let somebody that has a skin tone similar to theirs, it just got to be some bullshit. And it's insane because some of the people that download my programs and products, it's really a wide group. Women, a lot of women buy, of course, mostly men. But you would think that of course, 90% of everything, well, really the actual numbers, 86% of my online, so not my trainings that I do for the actual dealer groups, but everything online, 84% of that is the United States. The rest is, India and Canada. So you got people all around the world that are hungry for information. And YouTube is great, fellas. You can go to YouTube and watch a 4 or 5 minute video. But ask yourself this, if you watch a 4 or 5 minute video and it fed you to the point where it touched you from that, imagine what type of next level shit would probably be inside of an actual program that was put together for people who are ready to step out and launch off. You know what, years ago, I remember I thought about it, we actually tested it. We tested it where I was giving it away because I would be invited to events and stuff. And, people were buying these programs at $5,000 a wop, like for their dealer groups and dealerships and whatnot. And then when I decided to say, okay, it's cool for them, but I want to make it to where your everyday salesperson that's going into their dealership that want to get better, but their managers are too tired or too busy to actually step up to the plate and help them. I want to give them a fighting chance. I want to give them an opportunity. So that's where it all got turned into where a person can have access to what at one point dealerships were spending $5,000 and $10,000 for. Your end user, your salesperson, now he or she can have access to that. And been doing real good with it, obviously. And I remember I did a test, and I did for 72 hours where I just wanted to see if I just gave it away, who would take advantage of it. And you know how disappointing it was? It was crazy how just didn't go well as far as on the giving it away for free. It just didn't. And then when I break down the different cultures or who downloads and invests in what, there's one group of people that when I say that they just dominated everybody else as far as them going, they always are investing and downloading and listening and stuff, it really was. Where one race of people or group of people, actually the way that they were downloading information at that rate was just, and then there was another one that was super low, crazy low, but as far as in luxury spending, this one group was way up. But as far as in intellectual development was way down. The other group, intellectual development, was way up. As far as in luxury spending was way down. So, man, what I'm getting at is this, man. If you want to be better, you want to do better, and you want to have more, you can do that. But just please make sure that you're doing everything you can to increase your value for the people who depend on you and who you love. Period. Okay, so what other questions we got? Let me see, because I'm feeling it right now. Let me share this with y'all too, since I got it right here. This right here is something for you. Yeah, when I get to talking, man, I get real passionate because, man, this shit is real out here. I'm seeing too many people, too many families are struggling. Too many men are right there on the verge of their cusp, but they are so afraid to do what they need to do. And when you hear people say you got to invest in yourself, that's not always just money. That's the time. That's the belief. That sometimes it could just be investing in yourself, could be sitting still by yourself and just giving thanks on the inside of your head to the Most High. It could just be sitting there meditating. Investing in yourself could be just going out to make sure you're eating better foods at lunch. It's a number of things. But if anybody believes that they're going to free their way to success, you're sadly mistaken, because many have tried before you, and it doesn't work. And neither will the person if they don't work on their skill set. So not only will trying to slick the system not work, that individual won't work as in either getting a job. Why? Because they don't have any qualities or skills that are valuable to any organization. And again, how many of you that don't have degrees or whatnot actually have companies that are offering you $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year positions? No, but at your dealership, you really do have the opportunity to do that. And so if you keep walking over dollars to pick up dimes, shame on you. Shame on you. If you have a family to take care of, and you spend more money on video games, weed, or liquor than you have on increasing yourself, improving your skill set and your value so that you can better provide for your family, it's just the game has changed. The game has changed. All right, what I just did is I just shared a link. So what now, and it's real sweet, man, as far as the tweaks and things that we've done with the program, it's awesome. What it is there's videos and audios, training manuals, all digital, where you can listen to them in your car, watch them on your phone. As far as the PDFs right there. And man, when I tell you, it gives you everything you need to be able to execute at your dealership at a high level. I'm talking about even if you don't even know what to say to start off greeting somebody, I've got that for you in there. If you don't know what questions that you should ask, not only do I have all of the questions, I even have additional ones that, just in case, depending on how the conversation goes, you may want to use. Not just that, when it comes to being able to close the actual deal, knowing what to say if they want to know what the doc fee is, knowing what to say when they say the price is too high, knowing what to say when they say they want to shop around. Guess what? Over 50 different ways for you to be able to handle that is laid out for you, all in the word tracks. All it is for you is just plug and play. Meaning, what do you plug? Your name, the customer name, maybe your dealership name, and the price. Everything else is already there for you. So it'd be like creating a rap and then busting in a freestyle out somewhere where they think it was a freestyle because you left a space just to be able to plug in whatever reference or thing that's around you where it makes it seem like, ooh, you're doing that right now. No, it was just put together so well that the pieces literally could be taken out, plugged in, and the process still does what it's supposed to do. And that's what how to dominate at the dealership programs do. And for those of you who have been listening, watching me for years, you're doing it for a reason. You're smart. You know bullshit when you see it, and you know real when you have it right in front of your face. And I believe that the reason why you and I have been connected to the point to where here we are at 9:24, almost 9:30 on a Wednesday, and you and I are sitting here spending time together. And guess what? I love it. But the reason why is because obviously there's something that you've heard that resonated with you. There's something that you saw that you said, you know what, that brother's all right. So don't just let it stop there. Or should I say, keep going. Meaning, become the change that you want to see among everyone else. If you want to give yourself a pay raise of 10, 20, 30,000, guess what? In the automotive industry, you definitely can do that. But if you don't know what you don't know, and so many folks go in with great intentions of just saying and doing what they think they should, or they say, well, this is what I would want someone to say. And that is not the way success is done. That is not the way processes are created. I'm sorry. You may not like certain words that's used in it, or you might say you would never want somebody to say that to you. It doesn't matter if when you say it to someone else, it helps them understand clearer what it is that you've been presenting to them and makes them feel more comfortable making the buying decision with you. See, so it's really the give and the take part of it all. Also, though, you have how to drive Facebook leads is also included. Now, what this is again, audios, videos, I think close to 3 hours. How to dominate a dealership has 3.5 hours of audio and video and the sales training manual. Now, here's the cool thing about the manual with the Dominated the Dealership program. When you download the manual, again, I'm talking about everything from how to handle personality types, how you're greeting your customer, the actual word track, the actual talk out, the actual script for the greeting. And let me talk about scripts for a second, because I know people always say they hate scripts. They hate scripts. They hate scripts. And I say, well, why do you hate scripts? Well, because it makes me sound robotic. Why do you make it sound? How do you hate scripts? Because it doesn't make me feel like it's really me. And I want to point this out to y'all real quick. Like in a nanosecond, I want you to think about what is one of your favorite movies. Think about it. And just to yourself, what is one of your favorite movies? I'll give you a minute to think about that. Okay, so whatever your favorite movie is, I would like you to know something. Prior to that movie going into actual production, something was sent out to every actor and almost every person that's participating on the film. And you know what it was called? It was called the script. Now, the reason why our favorite movies are our favorite movies because they stimulate us emotionally. They make us laugh, they make us cry, they make us happy, they make us sad, they make us scared, they make us feel suspenseful. So that's why we love it. Our favorite movie stimulates us in some way, or it's so engaging or so entertaining that it captivates us, right? We know it's totally fake. It's produced in a doggone studio. We know that. But yet the actors on the screen are so into their roles that we believe them, we buy into it. We even may cry during the movie. We may feel anger at somebody in the movie. It's so many emotions that go on. But guess what? They were using a script. What that means is when they receive that script, they internalize and they personalize. They memorized and they internalized those words so well that when they projected them, they personalized them. Which means that they took someone else's words, memorized it to the point that they could plug in their own personality and make it their own. And it taps right into your psyche and it stimulates us emotionally in a number of different ways. You ever been riding in your car singing, you riding and you haven't heard a song since you was like in high school, but that was your jam. And you're like, oh, that was my shit back in the day. You jamming, boy, you know all the ad-libs, you remember the words, you remember the hook, you remember all of that. And you are jamming out in that car. But guess what? Guess what you're doing? You're really using a script. You're using somebody else's scripts because you didn't write those lyrics. That was a script. Matter of fact, you know them better than the rapper probably does right now. Anytime you ever quote a scene out of a movie, joking around with your significant other, like, I'll be back. And that was a lame one, I know, my bad. But, you know, when in Rome. But y'all throwing out movie scenes, stuff into each other. And guess what y'all are doing? Quoting scripts. Matter of fact, if every day you go home and you say, hey, what's up, baby? How you doing today? Hey, what's up, baby? How you doing today? Hey, what's up, baby? That's how you go home and greet your significant other. Guess what that is? That's your script. That's your word track. May not be written down, but that's what you use, okay? So the reason why people say sound robotic and sound scripted is because they have not memorized it well enough to be able to put their own personality in it, okay? That's really all it's about. You have to know that. Do you know that most salespeople do not have one rebuttal? Not one. Customer says the price is too high. They say, okay, let me go talk to the manager and see what we can do about that. Whoa, we didn't even try. We didn't even try, okay? And he, the story, the number now, this was just from someone's opinion. So there's no stats to really back this one up, but I was told that by a man that's my senior by 30 years and a multi-millionaire, really respect this guy, but he said that he believes that your average sales manager only has one. So if the customer says they want to think about it, they got one ready. They say the price too high. They got one ready. If they say they want more for the trade, they got one ready. If they say they want to talk to their spouse, they got one ready. If they say they want to shop around, they got one ready. Oh my God. So heaven forbid that the customer actually object again. And then the manager going to say, okay, I'll give all your money away, sales rep. Let's just get this deal done. Whoa, you supposed to be my manager. You supposed to fight for the money for me. No, sorry. I'd have to memorize rebuttal, so it's just easier for me to give your money away. I get paid regardless, so. But in essence, that's what's happening. Every time, due to lack of preparation, we got to let our manager come in and dictate the deal. And have you ever seen a manager just straight give people's money away? I mean, just give it away. Well, once you gave up the reins, you gave them the authority to do that to you. Why? Lack of preparation, lack of education, lack of expectation. So if you really think about what we've been talking about today, it really just lines right up. And more of us need to get out of our own way and drop our ego and realize that as a man, it's okay to get another man or woman to help or assist develop you, especially if you know that whatever area of expertise you're going into or you are in, that they're actually one of the top producers in it. It just makes good adult sense to make the decision to rock with them. It really does just make good adult sense. Harry Garcia, thank you, Harry. I appreciate it, man. Harry said, awesome info. Harry, where you calling us from? Anthony Tate, how do you recommend getting started in an auto sales career? Anthony, I can help you out with that. Do me a favor. I'm gonna put my email up here. I'm gonna give my Gmail out. And Anthony, I want you to email me your resume so I can see what city and state you in. And it's just as much of a as quick as a phone call. Okay, as far as helping you get started. But yeah, it's really all about finding out who's hiring. But more than that, some people go and they start working at a store without really any research because they've never done it. They're green. Because the culture inside of the store plays a big part in how happy or sad we are. Meaning that kind of that good old boy click network that a lot of dealerships have, where they make a new person feel like a leper, make them feel just straight ostracized. They actually make life hell for a new person to just not want to be there and quit. And then everybody gets to bitching and moaning and complaining when they can't take days off. But dude, I don't want to hear that. Like if I own that dealership, I say I don't want to hear any no complaining. As a matter of fact, you can hit the streets with the people that you got rid of if you want to, because you created this. But that's a whole nother thing. But Marcelino Rosario, hey Mr. Max, hey, thank you so much, brother. Elias Ortiz, I'm starting in sales next week. Do I have any tips for beginners? Yes, I do. Begin to fill your mental Rolodex now with process. Too many times a green pea, and do not take offense if they call you green pea, is just an industry term just for somebody that's new. But you don't have to wait until you are physically there to start learning and educating yourself. You don't. As a matter of fact, the better you are at educating yourself, familiarizing yourself, learning and building, prior to you going in there, the more prepared, the more relaxed. Again, it goes back to the movies, to getting the script, prior to going out and to having to perform. Imagine somebody having to perform without knowing the words they're supposed to say from their script for a play. You imagine how embarrassing that is? Well, guess what? Every single day when a sales rep goes out and greets a customer or gets in front of a customer, that is a live audition. Live audition, no do-overs. So knowing that there's only one shot to make this happen, why would anybody of any intelligence do anything that's going to make that difficult or potentially, postpone or derail that? So I would say just focus on training, educating yourself, and realize that it doesn't matter how skilled you are or what industry you came from. Please just know one thing, that it wasn't this. So you have to respect this business and this industry, because if you don't, it can definitely gobble you up and give you a sour taste in your mouth. But when you learn really what it is at its core, it's so much easier to float through interacting with these folks and building business and getting better. So as you going in, man, just as a green pea, you want to listen, you want to stay quiet and absorb as much information as you possibly can. If you have the opportunity, again, whether it's with myself or with anyone else, as a matter of fact, I'm going to send you a message, whether it's myself or anyone else, if you're looking for the resources and whatnot to be able to take care of certain things, just shoot me a message. Shoot me a message. That's my email address out right there. So if you do have any questions or something like that, or please shoot me a message to that. Now, I do obviously have my business email, but the reason why I don't give that out over the internet is because you got all these spammers and people like that that'll come around just extracting email addresses. Next thing you know, it's all types of crazy stuff being sent to my inbox. So I use the Gmail because if somebody does something to it, it doesn't affect my site, my domains, or anything like that. And if somebody wants to send me a file or something, it comes through on Gmail rather than on my business email. It could potentially go to spam, and I would have never known that it was even there. So as you can see, my Gmail is bmaxwell0712 at Gmail. All right, so let's see who else we got now. My man, Harry Garcia. What's up, Harry? From Puerto Rico. Yeah. He says, from Puerto Rico, I purchased a year ago How to Dominate at the Dealership. And when I went to the interview, my GM told me he never interviews someone like me. I was so prepared by your course that I told him exactly what he never expected to hear in the interview. He was wild. Hey, thank you, Harry. I appreciate it. And Harry, I don't know, anybody that's on my Facebook, you can go look right now. There was a gentleman named Oz DeGrew. Oz has been in the business now for, I think, maybe 4 or 5 years. Oz had never done it before. I brought him in at a Toyota store here in the west side, on the south side, west side of Jacksonville. And Oz says it all the time. Oz has made more money in 5 months. Like, he just uses an example as he goes through. Oz is definitely in the six-figure club, making $100,000 or more. Really nice guy, but the same exact information that I make available to y'all. And folks, there's tons of people. Just go through any of the YouTube videos and whatnot. You'll see there's other men and women out there, just like you, who are looking for help. They want to get better. They're not making the money they want to make. They don't want to have to spend an arm and a leg to make it, which is why I did everything I can to take something that was being sold to stores, sold $5,000, and really just compress them all in a digital format to give it to you for literally pennies on the dollar. And that's why I say you have to treat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. And regardless of anything else, it's at least worth a look. Check it out. At least click the link to go look at it. Because how can you, at least in an intelligent and educated way, as a man, How can you reject or turn down something that you never even saw? Could be totally missing that needle in the haystack, that diamond in the rough, that prayer that answer that you've been waiting on from them prayers that you've been throwing up. You never know. You never know. So take advantage of the opportunity to be able to build yourself up, to be able to close like a pro, to be able to drive people to your dealership through social media, to be able to dominate YouTube. The 100 success tips, there are 10 videos of some of the best success quotes that really keep you going and keep you driven. Because the time is now, fellas. The time is now. We have to make the change. We have to. And we have to make sure that we continue to prove to our families, to our communities, to ourselves that we are valuable assets. Valuable in that which you are. But the only way that you can increase your value is by continuing to increase your knowledge. You know what they say, knowledge is what? Power. So make sure, let's see, he said, Harry, you're in the $10,000 a month club with the course. Hey, appreciate it, my brother. And I believe, there's no reason for anybody to believe you lie on that. You and I don't know each other, but there are people, like I say, I live it. And everybody that is here, they wouldn't be here watching, Harry, if they didn't agree with you that something about something they heard me say, they've watched a video of mine, something has touched them too. That's why we're all here. We're all here because we connected, man. And I know for damn sure what type of energy I give out. I know for damn sure what type of money I bring in. So those that are associated with just like you are, guess what? If you haven't hit it yet, it's coming. But you got to continue to put in the work. It's not going to happen if you're not willing to invest in you. How can you ever expect other people to be willing to invest in you? If you don't respect you enough to dig in, to feed your mental Rolodex up the best shit that it can, to be the best you, if you don't feel like that's worth everything, then there's just something wrong, man. There's something wrong, because it is worth it. And let me tell you something. I done been in 2002. My family and I were evicted out of our place. Now, some of you have heard this story before. If you've been in a training of mine or seen me speak at a live event, then you'll know this. We were evicted in 2002, right? And it was all due to my irresponsibility. I'm running around smoking weed, my boys drinking and jumping jobs and all of this crap. Because, when I went to college, I went and played basketball for 3 years. And then I stopped when my first son was about to be born. And so I was going into my senior year. I had signed a scholarship with the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown. I had signed that, already. I was going to my senior year, and I made a decision I wasn't going to play basketball anymore because my meal plan at the college would not have fed a family of 5. And so out here in the real world, with no degree and no real life skills, I was not a hot commodity. Because I'm going through the story of how I got into the car business. I wasn't a hot commodity, okay? So, and the only jobs I can get that gave me a fighting chance to make above minimum wage was sales, okay? Because what I was what you would call the customer service. All I would search for was inbound customer service jobs. That's all I wanted. Why? Because it was easy and I was lazy. That's all I wanted, okay? And up at that point, the economy was in what you call a bull market when Bill Clinton was getting ready to leave out before Bush was coming in. And what a bull market means is the monies are flowing, Wall Street is happy, the economy is booming, right? And so, at that point in time, you got tech companies popping up everywhere, and you could literally cuss your boss out if you was in customer service or something and have another job within 5 minutes. And that was like that up until, till when it hit 2000, all the way up until September 11, 2001, it was a bull market. And so what I was doing was, I was quitting jobs, cussing managers out, all types of shit. And you know why? It'd be super stuff, because back then, I was a huge excuse maker. Nothing was Brian Maxwell's fault. Nothing. I refused to take responsibility for stuff. I didn't read books. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't a rap magazine or a basketball magazine, I would pass out if I tried to read a real book. So if I was sleepy at night but just couldn't go to sleep and I really wanted to, I'd say, man, where's a big book? Boom, I grab it, open it up, like, oh yeah, the beginning. Boom, and I'll be out. And I would say things like, I hate reading, da da da. And this was all truthful. I wasn't going to no conferences or listening to nothing positive or upbeat. I wanted to listen to my 50 Cent, you know what I'm saying, bang out my pot, bang out that jigger. That's all I wanted to do. Have me, be getting my smoke on, my drink on with the homies. That's what it was about for me, just jumping jobs, right? Then 9/11 happens, boom. Old habits die hard. The economy starts slowing down because everybody knows we going to war. They just don't know when. So guess what? Companies start laying people off, actually. Now, at this point, we have been living in an apartment complex called Lakeside Apartments in Jacksonville, Florida, for about 11 months. And y'all, man, in them 11 months, we was late every single month on that rent. And when I say late, I'm not talking about rent due on the 1st, paying it on the 7th late. No, I'm talking about rent due on June the 1st, not getting paid until August type deal. You know, we were 3 months late twice within an 11-month time span. I want you to break that down. We were 3 months late twice in 11 months at this complex. And I can remember the manager of the complex said, hey, listen, Mr. Maxwell, we've been working with y'all, man. But if you late on this rent again, we're going to have to evict you, right? And I'm like, damn. Now, at this point, it's the end of July, beginning of August, and I get hired by a company called Nova Star Mortgage. I was hired as a loan originator, right? And what they did is if somebody wanted to refi their house or buy a house, this company was sending out mailers and the people would call in and we'd have to convince them that they should do business with us. And whatever the fees were, as a sales associate, you got 10% of the fees. So Nova Star was going to pay me a whopping $25,000 a year salary and was going to give me I think it was 3% commission on the actual deal. Now, knowing that the manager said that she tried to work with me, but because she's like, look, you've been late every month, Mr. Maxwell, that if you're late again, we're going to have to evict you. Okay, I've tried to do everything we could. We tried to protect you, but it's just getting out of control. And I'm like, all right. So I go in, boom, Nova Star hires me. All right. So my thing is like, okay, my first paycheck, I can pay some bills, get us caught up. It's all to the good. Everything is going to be great. Well, the Friday before the Monday I was supposed to start, I got a call from the Human Resource Department. They said, well, Mr. Maxwell, unfortunately, we've decided to postpone the class. You don't have to show up. In the future, if we decide to open it up again, we'll reach out to you. And y'all, I was devastated because here I am believing that, hey, I'm about to start this job. Everything's going to be straight. I got this eviction looming over our head. And now they literally called me on a Friday, the Friday right before the Monday I was supposed to start, to tell me that I was no longer needed. I was devastated. And all I can think about is, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? This is the beginning of August now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's coming. We're at the end of July. It's coming. It's coming. I got 2 weeks. To come up with this money because it was the middle of July when I was going to start. 2 weeks to come up with this money by the 1st to pay this rent. But the job that I had just told me, boom, that I didn't have it anymore. So what am I going to do? So I looked around and guess what I ended up doing, y'all? Because one thing you learn about me, well, I'm sure you know it. And those of y'all that know me, which I know, most of y'all really do know me. I keep it 100 because everything I went through is what helped me get here. And at this time, I was, 23 years old, 24. So I said, damn, I got to get this money. What am I going to do? And I'm looking around, and I had a few friends who didn't seem like they were as affected by the economy. And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, man, I've been a good kid, I did my work in school. I got scholarships. My parents didn't have to pay money for me to go to college. I was able to travel and had never been to jail. I said, I gotta take care of my family and pay these bills, so I'm gonna do it. I decided I was gonna be a drug dealer, right? The only issue was I turned out to be like the world's worst drug dealer because the man in front of me like a pound of weed and I ended up smoking it up, stressing about the damn rent. So now I had the weed man after me and the landlord after me. It was just all bad back then, good God. But I quickly realized that game was not for me. I quickly realized that, boy, I was smoking that stuff and I'd be like, oh, it's enough left. I still got enough bed to make his money and make me a little bit of money. Keep doing it, then you're like, okay, I still have enough bed to make his money. Then you like, might as well just go ahead and finish it off now. It was just all bad. But anyway, on On August the 9th, 2002, I awoke to a 3-day notice of eviction on my door. And, no matter how many times I've shared this story with audiences of 10,000 people in an auditorium or arena, or if I'm talking to just, my friends online, man, that day seeing that eviction notice was like the most heartbreaking and gut-wrenching day of my life at that point. Because here I am running around acting like I'm a man, I'm smoking weed with my homies, I'm doing all this, I'm hanging, I love my kids and my wife, but, I'm a man, right? No, I couldn't even keep a roof over our freaking head. That woman trusted me enough when she took on my last name and I led her to a brick wall. My kids, they didn't even ask to be here. They didn't ask for none of this. But now they got to reap the benefits, from the bullshit because I was unwilling and I was incapable of doing what I needed to do. That night, y'all, I had $10 in my pocket and I went to ABC Liquor Store on Bay Meadows Road, right next to the KFC in Jacksonville. And I'm specific with it because it just had so much emotional. This night just played such a huge role in the rest of my life. But I go to that liquor store. I had $10 in my pocket, and I bought the biggest bottle of the cheapest alcohol I could find, and it was something called Tomac vodka, some cheap stuff, and I drank it. And the more, and I apologize too if it seems like I get emotional because I do, because that was to be where things are right now, to come from there anyway. I'm drinking it, and the more I drank, the more depressed I got. And the more depressed I got, the more I drank. And it's like, Brian, you ain't shit. You call yourself a man. You running around here, you smoking and you drinking with your boys. You can't take your woman out to nice places like she deserved. You couldn't go and do the things for your children, buy them the nice clothes, put them in the great schools like they deserve. Why? Because you was unwilling to do whatever that you needed to do. You don't want to read because you feel like you more hands-on, which is some ignorant shit to say. You think you better than this and that, and you ain't shit, Brian. This is how I'm talking to myself. And the more I'm steadily drinking, and the more depressed I got, the more I drank. The more I drank, the more depressed I got. And it got to a point where it's like, oh my God, my mind says, Brian, they'll be better off if you wasn't even alive. Because I actually felt like I was dragging them down. And at that point, I felt like the heavens was like playing a game on me. I really felt like they were watching me like a TV show, like a comedy. And what happened was, as I sat there drinking, man, I'm getting down on myself. And then I'm like, they'll be better off if I wasn't here. And at 2:30 in the morning, I got up out of my recliner chair. I reached into my bedroom closet, and I pulled out a black 9mm. Cocked it. Because if they was watching me like a TV show, I was going to end that episode that night. And what happened was, people speak of divine interventions and stuff like that. And all I know is, at that moment, I was standing there with that gun, and all I had to do was just pull that trigger. It's like a voice like that I just heard clear as day in my head. And it said, what are you going to do now, man? What are you doing? Are you less than a man? Are you lower than dirt? Yeah. But do those kids deserve this? Does that woman deserve this? You're going to take yourself out the game to avoid the embarrassment, but you're going to leave them cleaning it up. And guess what? They still going to have to move. So yeah, you are less than a man. You are lower than dirt right now. But they need you. And it was the weirdest thing in the world because I ended up uncocking that gun, putting it back up there in the closet, and I ended up crying myself to sleep just in a drunken state of mind that night. And really, fellas, I don't know, and ladies, I don't know if you all have ever been going through something stressful or seemingly dark in your life, and if you add alcohol or drugs to it, it can really amplify it and make it that much worse, where you really feel like you don't have a way out. So I strongly suggest avoiding that by all costs if you can help it. But I ended up falling asleep that night, just one of them drunken type stupors, right? And the next morning we packing up, we got 3 days to get out. And as we were moving things, my wife at the time, she found the business card. Man, I just get emotional. I apologize. She found a business card for Coggin Toyota, because I started at Coggin Chevrolet in Jacksonville, Florida, years ago. And she saw the car, and there was a gentleman named Chris Pennard. He's still in the business now. Chris Pennard had helped us buy a used pre-owned Isuzu Rodeo a year ago, and he was an awesome sales rep, man. We talked about the vehicle like that much, and the rest of the time he had us laughing. He was playing with my kids, and I don't even think we really even cared about what the total amount of the vehicle was. He got it to where our monthly payment was great, and we were great. But so she finds the business card, because you know when you're moving, you find all these little business cards. And I say, yeah. She says, you know what? You need to holler at these dealerships because they're always looking to hire. And I'm like, dealership? I ain't doing that. You crazy? I'm better than that. Here I am moving my stuff, being evicted, unemployed, and I'm telling somebody what I'm better than, right? But you know what they say? Happy life, happy wife, happy life. So I went in on the interview, and guess what? I was actually, I was hired on. And you would thought I would have came in and just been gangbusters, going crazy, working hard, but I didn't. Old habits die hard. And, all I knew is I couldn't quit the dealership because she would have left me. And knowing that I was unable to quit and I had to be there, it forced me to start looking at things a lot different, from a different lens. And then the thing that really shook everything up and just totally changed the game is one day I'm running around dealership talking about how much I love my kids. That was my thing. And a gentleman by the name of Leon, he heard me saying, and he's like, his name is actually, I'm gonna say it once, Leon Frazier. And if you're out there, he know. He's a cognitive Chevrolet. But he was like, he said, man, you sound silly. Really said stupid. And I said, man, what you talking about? He said, you run around talking about you love your kids. If you love your kids the way you say you do, and you really get about getting money the way you claim to be, you would do what successful people do. And up to that point, I thought I was. I thought just waking up, giving things, going to work, that's not what, no, it's deeper than that. And he gave me a copy of the first real book I'd ever read, and it was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And it blew the doors off my head. And then from there, I devoured every book I get my hands on. The Science of Being Rich by Wallace Wattles, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, Jack Canfield, Les Brown, yada, yada, yada. My first year in the business, I stumbled into $43,500. And I thought I was rich. I made almost 50 grand. I'm about to be 25 years old at the time. Had benefits, man. What? Couldn't tell me nothing. Fast forward, after I started devouring them books a year later, $101,313. Fast forwarded another 5 years, where I'm in my 6th year, a little bit over 151. Fast forwarded nearly a decade. Brian Maxwell, the owner of Sales Professionals of America Recruiting, travel all around the U.S. I have my own trainers out. I actually train and work, go at dealerships, best-selling author of 3 books, getting the opportunity to enjoy this stream with you tonight. Ain't life grand? And if an idiot like me can do it, definitely some intelligent people like you can do it. But here's the kicker. Luckily for me, well, really for you, all of the bullshit that I had to go through along the years, as far as certain books that I thought was relevant to this, that would help me, certain practices and processes that other people had that I tested, tried, and did, or the creation of the ones that work best for myself and the people that I train. I've taken out all the bullshit and took all of the meat and potatoes and put it together and made it available for you. I did all of the work for you. The trial and the error is done now, just for you to take it and insert it and just plug your own name, and like not literally having to plug things in there, but you have instant access. And from the very first audio or video you watch or listen to, you watch what it does to you, and you watch what it does to your performance at your business. You watch. But we have to do better. If you don't feel like your family is worth investing in, if you don't feel like investing in resources that you invest in one time, but that can feed you for a lifetime, if you think that that's a bad deal, then you might as well go ahead and get that Walmart resume ready. It's a mindset. It's a willingness to do whatever it takes. That's the true showing of love. The true showing, oh, I bought you some food. Oh, no. The true showing of love is me doing everything I can to increase oneself so that I can increase my value, and in turn, from what it is that I reap, boom, I'm going to sow it into my family. That's how it works. That's how it works. So make sure, again, let me Let me get this real quick. Share this. Let y'all check this out. Let you see this. I thought it was up here. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. I just wanted to make sure we got that up there so you guys know. There again, right there on the screen. And what I will do is I will actually post it in the chat so that you will have access to it in the chat to the dominant. And what it does, once it notifies me, you actually will get a message from you. Well, I'm gonna shoot you an email once I know you're in, and then you'll be invited to our monthly mastermind calls. Those are included too. It is so much stuff. This thing is a journey. You know, I literally am gonna take you by the hand, and I'm gonna guide you how to go make this happen. Okay? But in order for me to do that with people, you know how many requests I get on a daily basis from people just wanting me to work with them personally. And I would love to work with everybody personally. So what I've done is, with the program, condensed it all together, and then I have it to where we all get together and speak and meet every month. And Harry, I got to make sure you get in there because I didn't see you on Dominator Dealership download link. Okay, I'm sending you this download link for the How to Dominate at the Dealership training program, online sales coaching and training program. Actually, let's see what we got. We got some new comments. Oh no, I put the time. I didn't understand it. Harry, what'd you say? You said put the time. I didn't understand it before, and it takes a day to get rusty. Ain't that the truth? Literally takes a day to get rusty. A day, brother. A day. All right, let's see. This should work. All right, did anybody else have any questions? Damn, man, time go by so fast when you're on these things. This is I have not gone live like this, and I think it's been a couple months. I went live with some guys. We had a good live. We had some technical difficulties, and then I didn't do it. Well, once I decided to jump back on StreamYard, jump back out and do it. Now we're gonna be doing these a lot more. I'm not gonna go 2 hours every time, but what you're gonna start seeing, I'm gonna start bringing different salespeople on. I call them my 30 a month club. You're gonna start meeting young brothers and sisters, and when I say brothers and sisters, not meaning black, but just young men and women that literally right now are selling 30 and 40 units a month right now. They're in my group I work with. They literally have downloaded and used the same exact program that I sent the link to you, the same one that Harry Garcia just told you. He's in the $10,000 a month club. If you think I'm bullshitting, test me. Test me. In your effort to prove me wrong, I'm going to help you get rich. So test it. Download it. It has a guarantee on it. Download it. I guarantee there's a guarantee behind it. That's how much I believe in it. Download it. There's a 90-day guarantee on it. Download it. Go ahead. And in your effort to prove me wrong, I'm going to help you get rich. All right? But hey, man, I'm going to jump up off here. I really do appreciate y'all for hanging with me, man, and kicking it with me tonight. I really had a good time. I didn't know this 2 hours was going to fly by like that. But I'm going to be jumping back on a lot more. I'll probably get on in the morning. So maybe while you're riding to work tomorrow, we'll talk about some closes and some objections and whatnot and how to handle it. So make sure you're on the lookout. Hey, click that link, go on over, check out the information. I assure you'll be happy you did. But other than that, y'all, I'm Brian Maxwell. Looking forward to checking you out next time, and I look forward to seeing you at the dealership. Make sure y'all be safe and have a great night. All right now. Hold on, let me make sure. I don't want to leave yet. And I got some more comments on that. Hey, you welcome, Elias. You welcome, bro. All right, y'all. Peace.